Welcome back to another official Marvel Contest of Champions live stream, but maybe not as live as you're used to, as we've recorded this one ahead of time. Now, I'm your host, Kabam Dork, and I'm one of your community managers coming at you from twitch.tv/Kabam and the official Marvel Contest of Champions YouTube page. Now, we're talking Summoner's Choice. We are talking Deathless Saga. We've got new champions and, of course, a promo code right at the end. So you want to stay all the way till then to find out what you're getting to get you into the battle realm and, doing some pretty good stuff. Now, is that my fanfare that I'm hearing right now? I think it is. Let's get into it. All right, welcome back, Summoners. And you know what? I've got a very special guest. Well, it's more of a recurring guest here, the Kabam-osaurus Rex, better known as Karate Mike. And you know what? I think I'll let you do this one to ring in the new year.
What is going on, Summoners?
Yeah, it's such an iconic intro. You know, I've always had the yo, 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 and then yours is just like, what is going on? So I can't even do it.
So it still takes a little bit of practice.
Could you do it again?
What is going on, Summoners?
Yeah.
Get a little bit of gravel in there.
Oh,
Just on like the what, you know?
On the what? Okay, we'll work on that next time. For all of you, Happy New Year to everyone out there watching. And now, each year, our studio closes at the end of the year, so we wanted to pre-record this live stream so that you get what you want and get the information that you need to jump into Battle Realm and be ready. So I hope you guys all enjoy this all the same because, it's kind of like the same amount of work. We got champions, we got all the stuff that we're talking about.
We got a nice bulk of stuff going on today.
Yeah.
We got some good stuff.
Exactly. Now, before we get started, a big shout out to the production team. They're the ones that keep this running month after month after month. Now, you ready to get into it?
Oh, I am ready to get into it, Dave.
So ready?
I am so ready.
So ready. Now, we have some ground rules, as you know. You gotta be nice. Be nice in the chat because, you know what, the mods are still watching. Even though this is pre-recorded, they're gonna be watching, so do be nice. We want you to be able to get that promo code and be able to get all the cool things that we have for you. All right, now let's get into this. First things first, we have our Summoner Sigil. Now, we talked about this last time. It's just really another quick reminder to keep an eye out for it. It is coming very, very, very soon. And there's updated rewards. Yeah. Streamlined experience.
Streamlined?
Yeah, streamlined, because there was something, you had to do some things where you had to buy like two things or collect two different things, and they're just gonna kind of like put it all together.
All right.
Just makes it easier. There's more bang for your buck, more value for your buck.
I like that.
And I think one of my favorite things is this is actually functioning like a real subscription.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
So before, you had to go in and you had to buy your sigil, and then when it expired, it was like, hey, you got to buy the sigil again. So you click the button, and then it would expire, and then every month you go back and you click the button.
I set my reminder in my phone.
Once you click it once, it's in.
It's in.
It's in.
And I don't got to do it again.
No, you don't got to do it again.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. So keep an eye out for that. There will be a lot of details out there pretty soon, I'm sure. So get ready. All right, next up, we've got Summoner's Choice 2025. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar, each year for the past 4 years, we've given the power to the Summoners to choose the next champion. Our beloved community gets to go in and decide what champion gets added into our game. So this is how you got like Hercules in the games, how you got Quicksilver. This is how we have probably not your favorite champion, Gladiator.
Definitely not my favorite champion.
Not definitely not your favorite champion. And just recently we had Shathra added to the game, all because of you, our community, jumping in, letting us know what you love. You're voting for it, you're putting your time in for it, and then, hey, now you have a piece of the game. You're like part of the DNA of the game, which is like, this is like pretty cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
And not only that, I love Summoner's Choice because we've seen so many other contestants in Summoner's Choice throughout the years make their way into the game. Bullseye, Baron Zemo, Beta Ray Bill, also Ironheart and Omega Sentinel. There's so many fantastic characters are in these votes.
And we get a look behind the scenes. We get to peel the curtain behind what's going on, like how they're done, how they're designed, design process from the start, modeling. Then you put the skin on there, you put the textures. Then you have like the whole testing and then the sound design. It's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Now, the champions we have this year, go ahead and pop that up, Finton. We've got Hellcat, Daredevil Elektra, Mr. Knight, Hunter's Moon, Power Man, the Victor Alvarez version.
Of course.
Colleen Wing, The Shroud, and Echo, the Maya Lopez version.
That's a pretty fantastic spread.
I think it is a pretty good spread.
It's very street level. You
Yeah.
know, I like how there's a theme
Yeah.
involved. I'm
Yeah.
a big fan. Like last year, I believe the theme was villains, right? Like villain champions. This time we have like street level heroes. kind of
Yeah.
thing. I like it.
I'm excited for a few, but I don't want to let that be known. I don't want to influence votes.
Oh, of course not. I'm
As
going
they
to keep
go up.
mine personally close to my chest. Now, I will say, keep an eye on some of your favorite content creators because they might be lobbying for their favorites.
Which brings us into how the voting works. So we talked about it a little bit on the last stream, but it's a little bit different this year. So first, you're going to receive your ballot and choose which champion you're voting for. Once you've done that, you're locked in for this round of voting and will receive 5 votes towards your champion. From there, you'll jump into solo objectives. So winning 5 fights will earn you 5 votes on your ballot. So you'll be able to do that 4 times. This is going to give you up to 20 total votes. So you start with 5. You can work up to 20,
Okay.
right? So that is 25, if my math is correct.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Quick math.
Yeah, it's very
but
quick
not
math.
bad.
Yeah, not too bad. Now, if you're looking for some extra juice, though, you can head over to the Summoners Market daily for an additional 5 votes each for a total of 15 extra votes.
Wow. Now that
Yeah.
sounds like 35 votes to me.
Well, we had 25.
So 40 votes.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. Now the math is flowing. That's what I like. Now the thing here is the Summoners Market votes. This is the part that's exciting. The Summoners Market votes. You can vote for anyone you want on each 5 vote count.
Okay.
So you get 3 of those. That's the 15. So if you get 1, you can choose whoever you want, right? If you have like a secondary choice, or someone's like, hey man, you could really, if you could help me out, vote for my champion. I'm really, you can lobby for it. You know,
course.
so I'm excited to see like how this all works out. Lots of ways to vote and lots of ways to strengthen your own vote. Now, as you've seen with the previous Summoner's Choice, the votes will whittle down to the final 4 and then the final 2 until we get our final champion and your Summoner's Choice. So let's get voting. All right, next up we've got the Deathless Saga.
Ooh.
Now, the Deathless Saga has been testing the Summoners, that's you, to see if they're worthy of joining their ruthless ranks. Though they have defeated 4 of the Deathless so far, Deathless Thanos still needs further proof of their brutality in battle and wisdom in war. So as the Deathless continue to spread destruction and mayhem, the Summoner will be tasked with constant tests of strength. Now, I imagine this is the story, this is the excitement.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's been like going after their Deathless
For about a
champions.
year.
For a year.
Yes.
And now it's culminating into that Deathless Thanos that we saw last time on the
Oh
stream.
yeah, and we got some exciting stuff to talk about, man. So with the Deathless Saga, of course, Saga brings new things to the game. So this one is a bit different than how we've done it in the past. The Deathless Saga is only going to be lasting for 2 months, kind of celebrating your Deathless chase. So one thing, first up, Alliance Raids. There's going to be a new update to Alliance Raids starting the week of January 20th with some new mini-bosses and some new bosses. That's right, you're going to have to fight that Deathless version of Thanos one more time because he is going to be the big bad boss. But before him, you have Deathless Guillotine, She-Hulk, and Vision as well. So keep an eye out for that. Raids is going to be getting a little bit of an update. But how do we get Deathless Thanos, Dave?
Yeah.
We worked so hard
That's
for
my
a
question.
year
That is
to
my
get
question.
Guillotine,
Yeah.
and then King Groot,
Yeah.
and then Vision,
Yep.
and then She-Hulk, and
Yep.
now I'm looking at my game, and I see that there is this new Karina's Challenger. I have to use all 5 of them, which means I need Thanos before I can do it. So how do I get him?
Yeah, where? Can you tell me where?
I can tell you
Yeah,
where,
perfect.
and I would love to tell you where. So there's going to be this new quest launching this month called the Deathless Mausoleum, okay? There's going to be 4 paths, essentially 1 per Deathless champion. Now, are there rewards? Of course there are rewards. For every single path, you're going to be getting Deathless Sig Stones. For completion, you're going to get a rank up gem. There are 2 difficulties, one geared toward the 7-star Thanos, one geared toward the 6-star Thanos. For the harder version, you're going to get a 7-star rank up gem 1 to 2 and 7-star Sig Stones. For the lower difficulty, you're going to be acquiring that 6-star Thanos, getting 6-star Deathless Sig Stones, and a 4 to 5 generic gem. All you have to do is get in there, do a little bit of a path with each Deathless champion, and you will be rewarded with the final leader of the Deathless as a big congratulations for chasing these champions all year long.
Deathless Thanos.
And he is extremely exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all saw that. Like,
Absolutely.
It's just gross.
He's incredible.
It's gross.
He is a fantastic champion. When you use him, you really feel like you're wielding those Infinity Stones. You feel like you have the power of Thanos in your hands.
Sounds inevitable.
It sounds inevitable.
I know I used the joke already before, but might as well just use it again. It's inevitable.
It's one of those things. It's like, we've been waiting so long, and now it feels like we're going to have Thanos in a snap.
Nice.
Thank you.
That's a good way to cut that off.
Thank you.
All right. Now, also, coming up next, we've got the Alliance War Encounter Showcase that's going to be launching on January 8th and going all the way until February 5th. So jump in there, get the experience of what like a Tier 1 Alliance War feels like. You get to spread this across the board,
Yep.
And test your mettle, see how well you do. And if you do really well, then just hop into Alliance.
Yeah.
That does a lot. Just like Tier 1.
Dip your toes in.
Yeah, I will dip all of them, actually.
Dip all 10.
Yeah, dip all 10.
9 or 8.
Okay. All right. Coming up next, we have, one of the favorites of the live stream. Some people like different parts, but I think without champions, you can't play the game, and we all love playing the game. So to talk about the next two, let's go ahead and roll that first deep dive.
Okay.
To begin, strike the opponent to start stacking your debuffs. Complete full combos to stack your precision buffs while making your way up to 50 combo. Once there, you'll gain your vicious passive, juicing up those bleeds, and your shocks. Build up to your special 2, and launch to stack on dozens of debuffs, and then use your heavy to refresh them and consume 20 combo. If the opponent isn't already knocked out, you can keep converting your combo into refreshes until your vicious expires and your combo meter resets. Now, keep in mind, that ensnare debuff she gains when dodging an attack is great for those slippery science champions who love to evade, allowing her to stay aggressive and rinse the opponent with massive damage over time.
All right, so that is Okoye, and let me tell you, man, she's got a little bit of misdirection going on here because, like, she gets a lot of crits, but they're not big.
They're not,
but there's a lot, but it still doesn't add up, like, in your head, like the math, but all of a sudden, like, the opponent's down.
You see how quick they got knocked out, right?
Yeah, the opponent's down, right?
It's really interesting. It's like you're playing her and you're using your basic attacks and you're like, I feel like I'm not doing too much damage. I'm critting a lot, I'm doing a lot of damage over time, and then all of a sudden, you kind of like look away for a second, you hear the doorbell ring, and then you look back and then the opponent is dead. Yeah. And this happens consistently with her. I actually had some trouble like trying to get some of this footage against health pools around like 800,000 because they kept rinsing before I can repeat the heavy attacks, right? As you notice, I did a little transition between Immortal Hulk, who has a big health pool, and Labyrinth of Legends Red Hulk. I just needed something larger because, I mean, that's a good thing, right? She rinses them quicker than she doesn't.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting because all of her damage is really concentrated into that damage over time.
And also, like, when watching the footage, right, you can see it's a lot of stacks, right? So it's not like 5 stacks, 6 stacks, it's like 25, 39, 45.
Oh yeah.
Like lots.
She gets up there. And it's also another thing with that, it's because she inflicts a damage over time, bleed, and shock every time she crits. And she stacks those precision buffs as well, kind of like Vox in a way, but a little bit different, where she can stack the multiple precision in different way, from dexing normally, from using her medium attack, right? And then they fall off one at a time. And then they're paused once you reach 50 combo and you get your vicious passive. And at that point, you're going to be critting even more, you're going to be stacking even more debuffs, you can refresh them with your heavy attack. She's very into like her combo meter, which is great when you're countering science champions like Void, Quicksilver, Scorpion, those champions where you need to like get that combo meter up and up and up and up and up, right?
Yeah.
So she has a nice key against those science champions, some of those annoying defensive mechanics. So it all builds together really nicely because once she reaches 50, you get the vicious, then you can remove 20 of it with your heavy attack to refresh.
Yep. And you know what I found shocking? her interaction with Deep Wounds. Can you tell me about that?
Oh, absolutely. So Deep Wounds, historically, is for bleed debuffs, right? But she also has the shocks. So one thing in her Sig ability is that she starts with 3 out of 5 Deep Wounds in her base kit, well, in her signature ability, but without it being equipped. Now, let's say you put in 5 points in Deep Wounds. Well, you essentially kind of have 8 Deep Wounds, but not only for bleeds, they also apply to shocks for Okoye. So it's a great mastery for her. And on top of that, yeah, there were so many buffs there, right? Not gonna be too great against those Mystic champions of Mystic Dispersion. Well, fear not, Dave, because she has a very interesting mechanic as well. For every stack in a mastery that goes above like the max rank, well, she's going to reduce the potency of Mystic Dispersion and Coagulate and some other masteries as well by 20% each. So she has a nice way of countering some of those defensive mechanics there too.
Nice. Now, I believe she's also taken away some exclusivity from a certain champ, yeah?
Who's that?
Craven.
Craven?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, endurance.
That is right.
You know?
Endurance is such a rare effect, right? Because Craven's the only champion who has it, and I feel like most people don't even know that.
Well, now there's 2.
Now there's 2. So one way to counter the leader is to use an endurance effect. Now, Okoye has it as well. Now, the leader isn't the craziest defender, but we're starting to see endurance kind of like poke his head around the corner, right? Oh, endurance is being like called out. Now Okoye has that as well, and that's on her special 1. So she also, gets it a lot easier than Craven too. She's a little bit more useful on attack as well, and it's pretty nice to have for the future, I think.
Yeah, I think the players are going to be pretty surprised. So once you get past that kind of like initial use, and you're just like, where's the damage? Where's the damage? Yeah, the damage is in the dots.
Yes, it is.
That's right. Okoye will be available on her pre-release bundle, and of course she's going to have her regular crystals out. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. Now, for champion number 2, which I guarantee you don't know who it is, let's roll it.
To begin, strike the opponent to start gaining muscle mass and inflicting Daunted. Complete medium ending combos when they aren't stunned to keep it paused. And once you complete 15 hits, use your special 1 while unstoppable to gain 5 more. Try to heavy the opponent when they aren't stunned to keep your mass paused for longer. Continue the process of gaining and pausing your mass as you build to special 2, and then launch while unstoppable to gain your reverb passive. If the opponent isn't already knocked out, just repeat until they are. Now, when a stun is purified or cleansed, he goes unstoppable and indestructible. So, don't be scared to parry those pesky skill champions. And keep in mind, when he reaches max muscle mass, he inflicts an additional Daunted with increased potency, making those special 2 crits and reverb bursts break the opponent into pieces. And hey, that pursuit passive he gains from bleed immunity and debuff purification will help in certain matchups against defenders who can also evade, keeping his loop intact and making sure he hits the bullseye every time.
All right, that was Gentle. I'm getting a little bit of a Swift vibe there because he's shaking off or shrugging off.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, Swift and Gentle.
Yeah.
Because he can finish the fight fast.
Yep. No, I see what you're doing.
I
see what you're doing.
Yeah. All right, so let's break it down.
So, Gentle is a mutant champion that has some interesting ways of countering skill champions with some of that purify and cleanse. He's a pretty hard-hitting champion that really digs into the Daunted effect, kind of like how Onslaught does, but a little bit different. Onslaught really likes that damage over time. Gentle's more of that brute force attacker, right? You saw those big yellow crits, and also the red numbers from the reverb as well, similar to how Northstar has. So we've got bleed immunity, and he also likes those skill champions who likes to shrug off the parry stun, because what he does is he goes unstoppable and indestructible when that happens. And what I enjoy about him, very interesting and very unique, he is immune to stun when he is parrying.
That is super interesting, and the unstoppable and just not taking the damage at the same time is really great because you have to get those heavy attacks in, and that gives you like the perfect cover.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So if you're fighting Kingpin, for example, you can go for a parry, go for the heavy attack. When he goes to belly bump you, you could just kind of spin around and do your heavy attack as well, and kind of keep the ball rolling. Now he does have Unstoppable in his native kit against non-skilled champions as well. Every 15 hits, he's gonna go unstoppable. And ideally, you want to use your special 1 and your special 2 when you line that all up. So he does take a little bit to get used to, I will say. The first couple of times you play him, you might not jive too well with his kit, but once you really understand how you're supposed to use him, you can see the power in Gentle and see what he's able to do.
Yep, it's another one of those situations where if you're willing to put the time in and really learn the kit, you can really do some great stuff. That reminds me a lot of like Black Cat, right? Like Black Cat came out, and if you just used her generically, it wasn't that great in terms of damage, but once you took the time to learn like how the rotation worked and how to get those cards switched and hit right at the right time, dude, you did some nasty bleeds, man.
Oh yeah.
Really nasty bleeds.
Black Cat aged like fine wine over time.
Now, is this a similar situation in your opinion?
Well, it could be. It depends on the initial reception. So if we take Gentle where he's supposed to be used against those skill champions, they're going to see his value. He's got that bleed immunity utility, He's got a lot of great stuff going on. He's pretty tanky. He's got the Unstoppable. He's got the muscle mass, right?
Yeah.
And his looks, and also on his passive, he has a passive muscle mass mechanic. And one thing that's great about him is that the damage that you get from that 13th Daunted, right? So you really want to max out that muscle mass.
Yeah, the 13 is the big number. Like when we were talking about it, like, dude, you want to get to 13, man.
You want the 13 because the 13th Daunted, it's going to have an increased potency compared to the rest by a significant amount. So you really do notice the difference there once you max it all out.
So the loop seems pretty straightforward.
It's pretty straightforward. You want to attack the defender, preferably when they aren't stunned to begin with, right? That way you want to do your full 5-hit combo so you can keep your muscle mass paused, use your special 1, use your special 2, and that's really going to be all there is.
Nice. Okay, so usually I ask the question, where are we taking him?
Well, that's the thing. He also has a pursuit passive that he gains on immunity, and he is immune to bleed. So for example, there's that skill champion you may have saw at the end. His name is Bullseye, right? He likes to evade, but pursuit is fantastic against Bullseye, right? He also gains a reinforce passive, which makes it so he cannot be crit, which is also great against him. Now, Bullseye is particularly nasty on node 49 in Alliance War. Well, guess what? That's stunning reflection, and he can't be stunned on parries, right? On those well-timed blocks. So, just in general, Bullseye on node 49, I think Gentle's going to be very, very solid for. And again, in like Battlegrounds and Alliance War and anywhere really, against those skill champions where you could really take advantage of that shrugging and the cleansing, I think that we're going to see Gentle get some nice use.
Yeah. I mean, he's pretty brute, dude. I mean, I love the fact that the name is Gentle, but there's nothing
like
gentle
opposite.
about it. Yeah,
I love that.
That was really good kit. All right, so let us know what you think of our two champions. We've got Okoye and we have Gentle. Let us know. We're excited. I'm excited. Yeah. It's actually really fun. I mean, we get to play the champs like
fun.
Early, so it's all good.
It's a great time.
Yeah,
it's a great time.
And then we have to like come in and like act like we're surprised. Like, no way, that's what's in this champion. Now, trust me, it's gonna be a good time. So that is it for our live stream, but I do want to leave you with one more thing. Of course, there is a promo code for Reunion Crystals. Make sure you jump into the Summoners Market and pop in the code Summon New Year. Summon New Year. I don't know who came up with that promo code. Definitely wasn't me. Nope. Definitely Summon New Year. I kind of like saying that. Summon New Year.
Summon New Year.
Happy Summon New Year.
Happy Summon New Year, Summoners.
Okay. So your code again is Summon New Year. Hop over to the Summoners Market and get that right away. And of course, a big thank you to our production team. Once again, driving the rig, making sure we get these live streams month after month. And now, if you liked the video, and I hope that you did, go ahead and click subscribe, click like, leave a comment, jump on social, share it with everybody, share it with your friends, share it with all the people that you love, and remember, stay dorky, and I'll catch y'all
in the battle realm.